Today I'm doing my nails and we are doing the glass nails trend, and I'm going to explain exactly how I did it. I'm also getting into e-file removal, cuticle work, using builder gel, basically just doing my entire manicure start to finish and walking you through every single step. I'm basically going from these purple glass nails to some navy, more moody glass nails. I had that manicure on for I think like 3 weeks, so I'm excited to remove it. It's time. I'm using my e-file to do my rebalance or fill, and I'm using this carbide bit, which is a coarse carbide bit, and my e-file is on the highest speed. So this one goes up to 30, and that really helps to remove it a lot faster. It also just ensures that the bit like floats over your nails and easily removes the product, so you don't have to apply any pressure. It really does all the work for you. And once I removed the top layers, so the top coat, the magnet gel, and started getting into the color, I'm just now lightly debulking the builder gel that I had underneath. For this manicure, I actually used purple builder gel. So I can see that I've removed most of the purple, and now I can tell that there's like just some leftover shadows, and I'm just gently going over that. So my goal was to remove as much of that purple base as possible until I'm left with nearly clear nails like what we have here. And if there are little bits of the purple builder gel left over, it's okay, because I'm going to use a hand file to file my surface after I'm done with the e-file. And that also just helps get rid of anything left over too. Now I'm using this little nib bit to lift up my cuticle pocket, and it also does a really great job of exfoliating any dead skin off of my nails. I like to go in both directions because I find that it lifts up the cuticles so well. Like, you can really tell how rested they are on my other nails and how much more lifted it was on the pointer finger. My next video is going to be an in-depth shaping tutorial, so stay tuned for that. My nails for that purple manicure were a little bit shorter and I did a round shape, but now that they've grown out, I really prefer my nails to be more almond. So I'm just touching that up right now, and I promise in the next video I will go into major detail of how I get my shape, but I wanted to dedicate its own video because I had like 10 minutes of footage for it. Now that the shaping is done, I'm moving on to filing the surface of my nails. I like to look at my nails from different angles to see if there's any leftover builder gel that's like bulky in any one spot. So I could tell here on the pointer finger that there was just like a little bit of bulk around my sidewall. So I'm just kind of buffing that to make it more smooth and sleek. And then also just getting rid of any leftover builder gel that I had on there. And then I like to move on to using a sponge buffer because it is a little bit more gentle to just rough up the surface of my nail and make sure that it is completely matte and there's no shiny surface left over. And I do still have a thin layer of clear base gel on my nail that I had underneath that purple builder gel that I had on my previous manicure. So I'm not directly buffing the surface of my natural nail, I'm buffing that base layer of gel. So that really protects your natural nail from being over prepped, and it is really the key to making this process work is by leaving that thin layer left over. I like to clip the dead skin after I'm done buffing the surface of my nails. I just feel like it kind of protects your skin from getting over buffed or filed on accident. And this is a new addition to my routine that I love, is using this ball bit with the e-file. It basically exfoliates your skin. So if you have any leftover like kind of jagged skin from cutting your dead skin in your cuticle area, this really smooths it out. And I've noticed that like days after my manicure, when the skin and the nails start to grow more, the grow out just doesn't look the same. It looks a lot smoother and cleaner for a lot longer. And once I'm done with that, I cleanse my nails super well with isopropyl alcohol, and I love using that nylon brush just to get all the debris away. And now I'm ready for my base gel and builder gel application. And now I'm using Mega Stick base, and like I said earlier, I love using clear gel underneath my builder gel because it really helps with the fill rebalance process. So I just remove my builder gel until I hit the clear layer of base. So in this case, I'm just like replenishing that base with the Mega Stick. And I just showed how thin and flat my nail looks. I just did a really thin layer of Mega Stick. And now I'm using the Cocoa's Platinum Filler Base, which is a builder gel. And you can use this without the Mega Stick, but I just really like using Mega Stick underneath everything because I feel like it helps prevent lifting so well. I did my slip layer, which is basically like the mapping layer that helps this bigger bead of polish that I'm doing now just float into place. And as a reminder, I don't cure the slip layer because if you did cure it, it would just be a little bit tacky. It wouldn't be quite as wet and you would kind of struggle to do this portion. I like to flip my nails over to get the apex and structure nice and balanced, and then of course cure it as soon as as you like it. Now I'm cleansing the tacky layer off of my nails so that I can do the finish file. And while I was doing that, I noticed that I had a tiny bit of pooling from the base gel onto the sidewalls of my nails that had cured. And I want to file off that pooled part until it gets back to my natural nail, because otherwise it can get in the way of things and cause lifting. So I basically just use the file to gently go over it until I get back to my natural nail, and it hasn't caused me any issues since I did that. And then while I have my file out, I'm just doing a finish file, which means that I'm like beveling the edge of my nail and kind of tucking my natural nail underneath my builder gel. And this helps a lot with lifting too. If you ever have lifting at the tips where your builder gel separates from your natural nail, I swear by doing the finish file. And here's the final look for the builder gel application. And I just cleansed my nails really well after doing the finish file. Now I'm ready to move on to the glass nail portion. And I'm using a black base because that makes the color and the magnet gel really pop. For black gel, you really need to do thin coats in order for it to cure. So I just grabbed a little bit of this polish. I'm using Boba Date from Nail Thoughts, which is super pigmented on its own. And you just need a tiny bit of this. So I used, like I said, a little bit and just spread it all over my nails in a thin, even layer, and then touched it up around the cuticle area with the detail brush. I cured that for 60 seconds, and now I'm using the Cocoa Satin Magnet in white satin. This is like a silver satin magnet gel. The particles in it are so small that when you use the magnet, it really makes it look like such a silky finish. But you want to make sure that you are being super diligent with this application and that it's really smooth, or else the streaks will show through. Every time I do magnet gel, there's a different process with the magnet, but basically I just hold it close to my nail for like a second or two and kind of just see what happens. One thing I also recommend doing is holding your magnet in place but tilting it up or down, because that will lift the particles up and it can kind of make them shine a little bit more than just holding the magnet in place and not really moving it at all. I also like to look and see how my nails look away from the studio light, so I'll just turn my chair like towards the window and see what it looks like in the natural light and make sure I like it before I cure it. The next step for glass nails is to do a very sheer coat of color gel. I tested a few options on the press-ons, but they just were not right. So I decided to actually do a mixture of Nail Thoughts Mood Ring with some Cocoaist Art Clear Gel. Mood Ring is a little bit glassy and sheer on its own, but when I tested it over the magnet gel, you just couldn't see the magnet gel at all anymore. And I decided it needed to be a little bit more sheer. So that's where the Art Clear Gel comes in. It's essentially just a clear gel that you can use to mix with any color to make it more sheer. So I just mixed it on the palette and then used an application brush and did a super thin coat. And this was like exactly what I was looking for. I like how it's kind of navy, but it's also a little bit teal with the black as the background. I just was really happy with it. You could obviously just stop here and put on your top coat, but I wanted to use the new Nail Thoughts Glistening Flash top coat because I hadn't had a chance to use it yet, and it's just so pretty. I actually found this to be really similar to the Cocoaist Ultra Glossy Non-Wipe top coat, where it is a little bit thicker. It's still super easy to work with, but I did find that you need to do a bit of a thicker coat with this one because then the glitter kind of sinks to the bottom so that you get a smooth surface. I did a thinner coat with my right hand and you could feel the glitter, which I just was not okay with. So I ended up doing another coat over the top. So I'd recommend just applying this normally and even like floating a bead through it like I just did there to make it super smooth. Here are the final nails with the exposure turned down so that you can really see that flash glitter. But one of my favorite things about these is they look different in literally every light. And you can do this with like literally any color combination that you can think of. I already have a few in mind. I'm just so obsessed with this trend right now.